The world as we know it is changing. Heroes and villains are cropping up at every turn. And as they populate more and more of the same universe, conflict inevitably arises. It all began in the United States, South Carolina. An 80-year-old woman stumbled into a pawn shop and emerged something more. Wielding her samurai sword that grants her superpowered agility, Bushido Sobo began patrolling the streets, pummeling out her own justice. Eventually, her grandson, Simon, figured out what was happening and became her help in the field, feeding her insight and assistance whenever he could. Additionally, Simon plays tech help double duty with some of his good friends as they took an ordinary dog and built him his own robotic suit. Dubbed MechGruff, the team dispenses their own version of rough justice. Their biggest fight occurring when Teen Rex, an insane high schooler cursed to be a T-Rex, plotted to release a dino bomb on an entire city. With the help of Derek, a man with the ability to do any task for a short amount of time when the need arises, and who simply just wants to be left alone, they handily defeated Teen Rex, and the city was saved. Across the country, yet more was happening. A small town in the Rockies witnessed a half-trained, half-manned being emerge from the wilderness. When he proved willing to help, the town welcomed him into their community, and Sheriff Coleman has patrolled diligently ever since. Elsewhere, strange monsters that go bump in the night began lurking in a city. Feeding off of people's fears, they are held back by one small boy, Nightlight. Nightlight has the ability to travel to their world and emerge back to ours under any bed. Additionally, he can arm himself using whatever he can imagine. In the Midwest, a woman with a mechanized suit allowing her to make and control small tornadoes has emerged. With a tragic origin where her fiancé was killed by a tornado sent by the evil Weather Channel, she vowed to fight back. As the country saw all this happening, some still remembered how this isn't the first time heroes have walked the earth. Long ago, a group of beings arrived from the stars and immediately took to doing good deeds. During their era, the world was a better place. Two of their members, Daisy and Scout, formed the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts of America, hoping to pass on altruism to generations to come. Although these groups have remained active, this team broke up after Daisy's apparent death in World War II. It is now the present day and Daisy has come back. With Scout, she seeks to bring back their golden age of altruism. Across the ocean, superheroes were popping up as well. In England, a caffeinated duo has become active on a college campus. Forming the team Doubleshot, Jitters and Espresso fight campus crime and ultimately seek to destroy the corrupt college that made them who they are, North Dunkington University. During their crusade, they came across a former thief who had also been wronged by this college. Dubbed Long John, this dough man has the ability to stretch and mold himself, making him a worthy opponent. When lightning struck a seemingly decorative beer-dispensing robot at a German Oktoberfest, Optimus Prime was born. Now working for the German government, this 30-foot robot, armed with an armada of beer-themed weapons, protects its country's borders. This put it in conflict with the Donkey Legion. Led by two genetically enhanced donkeys, Chomp and Stomp, this army beat Optimus Prime and now reside near Rome, Italy. Outside of those already mentioned, many villains have arisen to oppose the good heroes of our world. For decades, a possessed kindergarten teacher dubbed Kindergeist has corrupted all students who went through her classroom. At the present, Kindergeist has hundreds of students under her control. One such student turned into the menacing sign-wielding villain, the Omen Shaman. Due to his fragile mental state left from Kindergeist, the Omen Shaman saw a vision of Bill Engvall and tapped into his inner sign chakras. He can now manipulate any and all signs to assist him in his crime sprees. One teenager, deprived of breakfast his whole life, was transformed into a horrifying breakfast monster called Baconstein. In a Philadelphia neighborhood, a cat reigns, claiming to be an ancient Egyptian god. Calling himself catatonic, he can ensnare one victim at a time with his gaze, and currently has built up a mafia-like presence in the area. And finally, and perhaps most terrifying, is Florida. After being betrayed by the government of his own state, Basil Lisk was transformed into a snake being, armed with the ability to control all snakes, Lisk exacted revenge by climbing the ranks and ultimately murdering the governor of Florida, placing himself as the new head. Under his watchful eyes, Florida has turned into an evil place, and the rest of the world eyes it suspiciously. Governor Lisk has gathered many allies to his side, including the villain Professor Persuasion, who has the ability to sway people to his way of thinking simply by talking to them. Additionally, Lisk has been approached by the villainously reformed NASA, headed by evil Buzz Aldrin. Many of the heroes and villains in our world owe a small part of their origin to this evil entity, including Investra, the villain who was betrayed and left to die by NASA. By a chance encounter with a superbug in orbit, also due to NASA, Investra crashed back to Earth with the ability to control all bugs. No one has a bigger reason to hate NASA than her. This is the world we have created. This is the world of our heroes. And now something big is about to unfold in Governor Lisk's Florida. What menacing plan is he concocting? And will our heroes be able to team up and put an end to his reign? Find out now. This is a very special Headline Heroes. A special issue of Headline Heroes, a comedy podcast where we take today's headlines and create a comic book origin story. My name is Drew Mick.
I'm Nathan Haynes.
And I'm Tanner Ackerman.
Nate, you sounded a little different on your...
Well, it's a special edition, a special intro, huh?
I almost forgot to say my name.
Hey.
That would have been special too.
It's like one of the two things that you do here, Tanner.
Yeah.
So, guys, the time has finally arrived. We've been talking about it for months now, I think, and we're finally going to do something about it. We are finally going to figure out what's going on in Florida.
I thought you said you got Bill Engvall for the podcast. You said that was their special episodes. You got Bill Engvall. I had a meeting to go to. I skipped a lot of stuff for this, Drew.
Oh yeah, let me go get Bill. Hey, Bill. He doesn't want to come out.
Well, he's really surprisingly mic shy.
It's not a lot of people know that. He goes up on that stage and he's actually like actively pissing his pants while he's up there.
Gross.
Describe it in more detail, please.
Well, it's running down his leg.
No, please don't.
You saw him in person.
I did, and I was right in the splash zone, if you will, like front row.
Yeah, good
of him peeing his pants.
That's a good point. Actually, the further away tickets are the more expensive ones at Bill Engvall shows.
Yeah.
So I guess if we're not fucking talking about Bill Engvall, what are we doing here today, Drew?
Well, it's a special episode. We're gonna look at Florida. We're gonna take every as many villains as we can. Like something shady's going down in Florida with NASA and the general state government. And hopefully we're going to generate some sort of evil plan that is going on down there. And then there's going to be, we've decided, a part 2 to this series that'll premiere next week. And it's going to be how our heroes that we've created respond to this plan and fight against it and hopefully save the day. So, Nate, did you want to give us a little information about specifics, the logistics of how we're going to do this?
I mean, despite the fact that I had no idea we were doing this today, I guess I can throw something together. So what we were planning on doing is each of us have brought to the table an article. The other two don't know what that article is. And so in the spirit of Headline Heroes, where we take headlines and make them into origin stories, we're going to use these headlines together to sort of craft this plan over the course of the episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with one of our articles randomly selected, and then after a predetermined amount of time, Tanner's going to have an alarm go off, and at that time, we're going to randomly select another person who will then reveal their article, and we have to incorporate that article in some way into the plan we've crafted thus far, and then after another predetermined amount of time, we'll include the last article. And so sort of over time, we're forced to adapt and change the story to fit these articles and kind of see what we end up with. Does that about sum it up?
I think so.
So, Tanner, you're going to be the one who's selecting who goes when. Do we want to just number off like 1, 2, 3, Drew, me, Tanner, just in order of...
Yeah, I already did that.
Okay, so who is going first?
Okay, so as you know, we're each going to get 5 minutes to pitch our articles. And then a panel of Mark Cuban and his friends are going to determine which one's the best one. And then that one gets the investment to put their thing up on Kickstarter.
I've been training for this.
So I hope everyone's ready. None of that was true, but the first person to go was me, actually, and I didn't rig it. I promise.
It's rigged.
This sounds rigged to
fake
me.
news.
Okay, so I found a really good one that's going to be super easy to figure out a plan with. My article is Slimed. Truck spills tons of goo-producing eels. I'll go ahead and send that in
all right, send
that
us the
article?
we got it.
All right.
Holy shit! What the fuck?
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't like your article because it makes me feel funny.
it makes.
yeah, that car got pretty effed up, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. So for all those of you at home who can't see it, I mean, there's a link, of course, in the episode description, but it sort of looks like the back half of this car sort of melted, and there's just like sticky white goo all over this bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy!
Talk about road rage, am I right?
Hey, you know what eels remind me of a lot?
Probably. Glue.
Snakes.
Oh,
There it is.
Snakes.
So
This is easy, kinda.
So Governor
I need to not
Lisk
look at this.
goes diving off the coast of Florida, and that's where he realizes he has the ability to communicate with eels, the snake of the sea. There's
His
water
power's
snakes.
growing.
Yeah, so his powers are growing. So then he gets a dump truck full of eels or something.
What's he doing with them? He's sending them out of Florida? Is he bringing them to him? Is this transportation of like troops?
I wonder, like, you know, snakes. People have an aversion to snakes, and like for the most part, snakes got to go over the ground, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if this is his way to sort of like get more inland, like eels going through the plumbing system through tubes and pipes up into the mainland and like out of people's toilets and sinks and stuff. Like, I don't know what they're going to do when they get there, but like maybe this is his infiltration plan to break out of Florida.
So are you
Well, not
saying
break
that
out,
there's been just a surplus of eels in the state of Florida, and maybe this dump truck isn't like part of the plan? It's just disposing of these eels, trying to get them out of there. Well, no, that doesn't.
Well, we can ignore the dump truck part. I like where Nate was going with that. My thought is he could use it, like the eels coming out their toilets and stuff, like as a way to take out any of his enemies in the Senate.
We're talking about like a crystal knocked
yeah.
with eels.
Yes.
And Drew, to answer your question, I was just thinking here, it could be that the eels were being delivered to Florida so he could like inoculate them or like control them.
True.
You know, like got to get the eels next to me and then
Profit.
then allow them to go out into the world.
Yes.
So maybe that's why they were in the truck at all.
Yeah. He ordered a bunch of eels, and one didn't make it. Apparently it spilled on the highway, but a bunch of other eels got to them, and he's sending them out into Florida. Or is he eliminating opposition within his state or into the United States?
I kind of like, I mean, if we're going for global domination, I think I like Tanner's sort of implication, like outside of the state too.
Okay. Yeah.
Like an important vote coming up. Uh-oh, it's 50-50. What are we going to do? Oops. It looks like one of the people who needed to vote mysteriously came down with some sort of bite of some kind, and now he can't vote.
On their butt.
What were they voting on? Was like a bill put forward to have Florida like secede?
I think he wanted snakes to be able to vote.
Of course.
I don't know. So do they want to secede and like have Florida be their own sovereign nation?
To what end, though? Like, why?
Be their own thing. Have
As a
Governor Lisk
dictator?
not answer to anyone.
Oh, interesting.
Answer to
President
no man.
Lisk.
And that's the first part of it. As soon as he has like the state and he's not listening to the president of the United States, then he can do something else evil.
Yeah, and he could slowly be trying to get other states to join him.
So is he targeting senators? Did he go after the president of the United States? Is
I
he
don't think
targeting
he's
any
going
of
that
our
high
heroes?
Ooh, maybe. Who
I
would
don't
be on
know.
his radar?
Maybe in Festra. Maybe like NASA like helped him And they're like, yeah, you just got to get Infestra.
So Buzz Aldrin said, we'll rig the election if you take out Infestra.
Yeah, like NASA will back you in your decision to secede. You just got to take out Infestra. Boy, of the ways to really kill someone on the toilet,
pretty gruesome.
It's pretty
He's
great.
a villain.
Hey, he'll do whatever. Yeah, that's one thing we got to think about, is that NASA does have to tie into this.
So I like the idea that, I mean, it kind of makes perfect sense to have. Actually, I don't know that it makes perfect sense. Do pythons eat bugs? I was gonna say like, oh, it's perfect. Snakes eat bugs, but I don't think they do.
No, I don't think they do at all.
I don't know anything about anyone.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there are snakes that eat bugs. Doesn't have to be a python. Why? Where were you going with that?
Smaller ones?
Oh, I just was like, oh, that's cool that it's a nice symmetry there. Like, snakes eat bugs. They're asking a person who controls snakes to help with bugs. But
garter
the symmetry's
snakes
not
eat 'em.
really existent.
So
For my point, I don't think it makes any less sense for him to help. I was just saying, like, the symmetry's not there that I was looking for.
So that's another thing we got to factor. I feel like a big part of this is going to be like NASA wanting to get rid of Infestra also.
Yeah.
It's like a subplot.
And who knows? Maybe Infestra's gonna turn around and become an anti-hero, or temporarily team up with the good guys before she goes back to being bad.
I 100% expect that to happen.
Yes, we're determined. I mean, what else? From this article, we've established that Governor Lisk is doing key assassinations across the country.
Yeah.
What happens when it attacks Infestra, I guess?
She gets away, but she's pissed off.
Yeah,
and this is when she learns that Lisk is not on her side. Because didn't we say that Lisk approaches her at some point?
I think we talked about it because like it turned into a villain Nick Fury thing where people kept getting approached and Lisk and maybe she was just like, maybe Lisk dropped that he was working with NASA, and she's just like, no, don't include me on this. Yeah, and then he was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna kill you then.
That, or she had been fooled into helping Lisk by Professor Persuasion, and once Lisk tried to kill her, that's when she snapped out of it.
Okay. Yeah, I forget that there's Professor Persuasion in there as well.
So to summarize, Eel's going out into the world through the pipes to sort of pressure or kill off people who oppose Governor Lisk and his endeavors. NASA has agreed to help rig an election for Governor Lisk in exchange for his help with Infestra. Is that correct?
Is Governor Lisk going for like president or something?
I think that would be sort of it's sort of been done in comics, but I think that makes sense for the character arc we set up for him.
Does Governor Lisk like kill enough people to make it so that it's like, I don't know what the line of succession is.
We would have to drastically alter the chain of command for that to be a thing.
The chain of command would be huge on that.
Maybe he's...
Also, I'm pretty sure when it gets to a point, Congress just elects a person. I guess they could make it Governor Lisk, but that'd be a lot of fucking people.
Maybe he's just strategically taking out people that would be against him once he announces his candidacy for president.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going for he's shooting up in the world. He's got Florida, now he wants more. Well,
you know what that means.
Well, Jesus.
Time for a new article.
All right, whose is it?
All right. Do you guys want to guess?
I think it's Tanner.
Drew's.
It's Nathan.
Oh.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So the article I have, I'm gonna send to you guys specifically here in the chat. And it is Art Comes Alive at 20th Annual World Body Painting Festival.
Huh.
Okay.
So I basically stopped reading at Art Comes Alive because I thought it would be very funny to take that literally.
Okay.
Now, how we get there from Governor Lisk's plan to to become president of the United States of America.
I'm trying to think, is there...
So he's throwing a gala for all the bigwigs.
Yes.
And he starts to give a speech towards the end about thanking all of them for donating to his campaign, and they're like, what are you talking about? And then all of these paintings start coming alive and holding them up and holding those bags of money for him to throw their wallets and their wristwatches in.
I love the idea of that they're holding open bags for wristwatches, like that Governor Lisk is gonna go to some pawn shop and turn in all these watches. No, I think that's a really good idea. The having the art basically be
I have an idea kind of to expand on that too. It's he's throwing a gala. He's like, yes, thank you for your monies. And then somehow Professor Persuasion works up some Tony Robbins magic and makes the art come alive. And it's not actually real people. It was art. It's just like magic happened.
So is he scarecrowing them?
It could be. Maybe it's a combination of Professor Persuasion and Kindergeist. Like somehow they've worked together.
Oh, hot damn, Kindergeist.
Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Like maybe ghosts possessing art? Is that what you're saying?
Somehow, like between like the Tony Robbins con and Kindergeist and her knowledge of the paranormal, they were able to work together and like make some sort of passage where ghosts come through and they possess the art.
Yeah. Or it's...
So sorry, who are you saying? I can't...
And Professor Persuasion with his Tony Robbins con.
Oh, okay.
The Necronomicon by Tony Robbins.
Gotcha.
And like people start to like try and run away, but boy, the doors get closed by a bunch of like all the waiters and waitresses like close the door and bar the way, and it turns out they're the Bradbury grads, the graduates of Kindergeist.
Oh, that's a good idea. So is Omen Shaman part of that too, since he's a Bradbury grad?
I guess you gotta. I forgot about that. Yeah. He's also there, but is he there willingly, or is it Kindergeist is...
She's convinced them because she still has power over them, right?
But maybe Oben Shaman is like, he's there against his will, but he's still like, he's not disguised as anything. He's still like, he just walks out. He's the sign guy. How
are we bridging the connection between Kindergeist and the Governor Lisk's plan? Like, how does Kindergeist, it was a woman, if I recall correctly, how does she come in contact with them? Like, how do they learn about her? How do they bring her in?
Vaguely, like, maybe Professor Persuasion knew her through the education system? Because he was a professor.
Did we ever give her a location? Do you remember that, Drew?
She was in the same town as Omen Shaman.
Do you remember where
Omen
that
Shaman was either in Las Vegas or some other place out west.
No, he wasn't in Las Vegas.
He was in a town of idiots.
I think he was somewhere in California. Yeah, and the town was full of idiots.
An unnamed town of idiots. Washington, D.C.
No. Boy.
I said it.
Oh.
Getting political on y'all.
You thought I wouldn't do it,
but kind of roasty in here.
Finally, we can do what we intended with this podcast and make political statements.
Did you have an idea of how to relate Kindergeist to Professor Persuasion?
No, I just asked the questions.
Tanner, do you?
Yeah.
Hit us.
Oh, you want to hear it?
Yeah, out loud, please.
Okay. So remember how the way he found Professor Persuasion was through like news articles and stuff, like seeing all these things going on with this professor?
He basically connected the dots, yeah.
So I'm thinking the same thing with Kindergeist. Like there's news articles about these kids breaking this bowling alley down because they're like, adults love bowling alleys, we want to break this bowling alley. And he slowly starts to realize like the same teacher's involved with all these kindergartners that end up wrecking all this stuff. Something's going on there. So he sends Professor Persuasion to persuade her to come down to Florida.
Now, is she persuaded in this, or is she there like willingly?
I don't know.
Although Professor Persuasion can persuade everyone, would it be beneficial to have some willingly there? Or maybe whenever this plan is like defeated, the fallout is like Professor Persuasion and Governor Lisk are taken down, and the other villains like run off because they're like, we didn't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, and that keeps them from staying together also, so that the like supervillain group doesn't stay.
Plus, like if you have a persuasive like guy like that, why not use him?
What if Governor Lisk, he's got connections in the education system, the education department, and he basically like finds out about her powers and is like, maybe Professor Persuasion's stuff doesn't work on her because she's like got the ghost stuff going on.
That's true.
He's like, well, I'll tell you what, I know how you get your students. And if you don't help me do my thing, I'll cut funding to your school and you won't have any students. And she says, well, I'll just come after you then. And he says, you know what? But your students are only going to attack things they think adults like. And you know what adults fucking hate? The government. So how they're not going to ever
I have
come
an
after
idea
me.
As well. And it's like the biggest power move ever. What if Governor Lisk goes and approaches Kindergeist? And she's just like, no thanks, no thank you. Children, please dispose of this snake man. And the children like go to move, but then they don't because Professor Persuasion has gotten to them. So Governor Lisk has like, as a power move, taken away some of her kids.
Oh shit!
And he's
that would be
her that
good.
way.
And then he offers the Secretary of Education position.
There you go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, Secretary of Education for Florida.
Well, but if he gets the presidency,
yeah. Who knows? So that's how Kindergeist was recruited. Back to this art stuff.
Okay, so are the arts not really alive then? It's just they're hallucinating and think they are?
They could be.
because otherwise this art thing could be like a super strong ally for the bad guys. Because like Lisk could just have a painting up in his office that sits behind like his desk, and whenever like someone starts acting a fool, he can just have the art come out and smack that bitch up.
Maybe it is just an hallucination then.
Yeah, otherwise it might be too powerful.
Well, Professor Persuasion was a chemist before this, so like he would maybe know how to cook something up.
Yeah, to make the hallucination. Yeah.
Yeah,
the hallucinations.
and it is Florida. They do weird drugs there.
Yep. Those Everglades are just full of toxins.
Marijuana,
Yes.
I heard, is one of the toxins.
Oh no, they have reefer there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a coast there. And I feel like with Kindergeist's help, like of her spooky knowledge, like I don't know, she like had access to some ectoplasm. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yep, that's the one.
Ecnoweed. How does him holding? Who is he holding hostage for one thing?
Like all the richest people in Florida, maybe in the United States.
Let's say the United States. Go big.
Yeah.
So it's not politicians. This is him funding his campaign.
Yeah, so the one half with the eels is him dealing with the politicians part of it to make sure that his path is pretty clear. And then this side is him making sure he has financing for his campaign.
Yeah. All right.
Nate?
Yeah, no, I was just like thinking to myself, like, does he need money? I mean, he's doing everything like a villain anyway. But I'm like, well, he still needs money to do stuff. That makes sense.
The question comes up of like, why doesn't he just use Professor Persuasion? But then he's just like, that's no fun. Let's really fuck with him.
Also, maybe there's a limit to Professor Persuasion's power. Like, if he does it with too many people, it becomes harder to sort of like manage.
We did establish that like it took time to build them up to do that, and to do that many at once in a quick amount of time would like basically kill the dude.
Maybe he doesn't trust, like he doesn't want to put all his eggs in one basket. Like you can't, if you put all your eggs in the Professor Persuasion basket, what's to stop him from just taking?
Yeah,
I
think
true.
like on a level, Governor Lisk is just like, boy, I've got Professor Persuasion now. He follows me like to the end of the earth, so he says. But if something were to happen,
Yeah, he plays it pretty close to the chest,
Yeah.
which is smart.
now what's NASA doing?
They're still trying to F up Infestra. I think that they call upon the Weather Channel to help them.
An uneasy alliance, but necessary in this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what do you think goes on there? Does the Weather Channel send a tornado? What does the Weather Channel get out of this?
Maybe, yeah, a tornado, like a big tornado for Infestra where they think she is. And who hates tornadoes?
So that'll tie in Windshield.
Yes.
Is Tommy Tornado sent out to like be the harbinger of this tornado?
I have to imagine, yes.
If only because Time of Tornado is great and should be included at all costs.
It is
Exactly.
an astounding visual of this Tommy Guns tornado person. Yeah, so it's kind of like two fronts, two people coming out of Florida, like kind of cropping in on the rest of the United States. Governor Lisk is doing it politically, and is NASA just straight up vengeance? What's their end goal here?
Well, vengeance and like Infestra's still actively trying to ruin them.
They want her off the
Sure.
map.
Yeah.
So I think we gotta say like Infestra gets tried with the eels, didn't work. Like maybe her bugs like warned her before it happened. Then a tornado is sent, and maybe she lose like a huge amount of her like best insects that she surrounds herself with.
I think
in
so,
this
yeah.
tornado.
I mean, she probably has to sacrifice a lot to not get killed by that tornado.
Like she's getting sucked through the door, and like the bugs all create this giant net, and they catch her, and she gets out of there. But at what cost? And now she's just straight up pissed, but also kind of weak because all her bugs are gone now.
She's got to rally some more up.
That, and also maybe go for some help from someone.
Well, let's see. Do you think she approaches like Windshield, or Windshield like knocks out Tommy Tornado and like says, "Take my hand if you want to live," and they fly away?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Windshield saves Infestra, and then Windshield takes her off somewhere somewhere that maybe will determine next episode on part 2 of this.
Yeah, I feel like we can be more hero heavy in the next part.
Sure. That's awesome. Yes. This has nothing to do with the art thing.
Sorry, Nate. We kind of got off. We lost our way.
No. Well, no, we don't have to like focus on the thing for the full 20 minutes. I mean, we included it. It helped bring in it helped bring in Kindergeist. It helped get. I mean, everything got us to where we are right now.
Yeah.
Like,
What if, just to tie NASA to the gala thing, what if it was Buzz Aldrin hosting the gala and the money was jointly for funding the campaign, but it was mostly for NASA and NASA was going to fund them?
Yeah, that works.
There we go. Can't forget that Buzz Aldrin is, in fact, an evil dictator in this.
Both in
And
real life. Damn it.
I have great respect for Buzz Aldrin in real life. I just want to put that out there. Buzz, if you're listening, Buzz, you got to have my Honey Nut Cheerios.
I also like the idea that I mean, I kind of imagine that NASA also is fine putting Governor Lisk in power, because if they can make a king, they can break a king. You know what I mean? Like, they think they want him in power, because then they've got a pawn in power as well. Like,
Yeah.
they can take that away from him, and then they've got like a captive government.
Yeah, so they put him there. That's what they wanted, but maybe in the back of their mind they create a contingency plan to, like, their biggest thing that they got to do is, like, they got to either buy off Professor Persuasion or create some thing that overrides it. And what better way to override Professor Persuasion than a certain cat?
Oh.
Maybe if they can get Catatonic to, like, control Professor Persuasion.
That's an idea.
I don't know. But yeah, I like make a king break a king.
They both think that they have the upper hand on each other. Like, Governor Lisk is like, no, I have the control here. And NASA's like, no, we have the control here. But they don't voice this to each other. They just assume it in their heads.
And maybe maybe next episode we'll actually figure out who comes out on top. I don't know. Do we want to recap quickly what that article?
Oh, it's too late.
Well,
all right.
Well, here we are again.
boy,
Time
that
to move on
song.
to a new article. So I gotta do the random number thing here to see who's
Okay.
going.
Yep.
All right, it's loading.
I'm gonna be honest. For a second, I was like, "Yeah, he does." Just like staring forward, looking at nothing.
All right, and it looks like it's Nate again. All right, let's go, Nate.
Okay, so my second article is about bread.
Okay, all kidding aside, Drew Bear, it's your turn.
All right, so I found this one and I love the headline, the title of it, and I'm hoping we can do something with it. It is titled "Accidental Alert Warns California of an Earthquake That Happened in 1925."
I remember this one.
I figured maybe you guys saw this, but
I did not.
I snagged it. I don't know. I was looking at it. I was just like, what if somehow... I don't know. We'll just see what we arrive at.
Okay, so it's a time traveling earthquake.
I was kind of like, what if Governor Lisk was able to, like, tap into some natural disaster that happened in the past?
Well, he might not be able to, but the Weather Channel might be able to.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even think about that. That's perfect. Maybe the Weather Channel has the technology to, like, look at weather, quote unquote, that happened in the past and maybe bring that back or bring that to the present.
I'm just sorry. As time travel stuff, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the nuances of what you've just proposed.
Nate, just don't think about it. It just, trust me, they have the technology.
So, like, say if they wanted to do Hurricane Katrina again, like, they would just pull that up again.
That
That's a
old
real life
gem.
tragedy. That's a little rough to say, but I mean, that's like the idea of it, though, because that was natural disaster.
Or
Yeah.
maybe it's just as simple as this is the Weather Channel. They did do an earthquake that much, but they sent out a tweet saying, yo, hey, that was actually a glitch that was from 1925. It's nothing time travel. It's just them using their...
Oh, so sorry. Don't worry.
Yeah. I don't know.
So they're openly admitting that they made the earthquake?
No, they're
openly
saying
admitting
that was
the
a
tweet
mistake.
happened. So the earthquake. Okay, so to my understanding, Drew, the earthquake actually happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then an alert was sent out, which triggered these tweets. The Weather Channel came and said, "Whoa, there! No, that was that when our system sent out that alert about an earthquake. It was wrong. It was an error. There was no earthquake, but there was an earthquake."
And maybe California is just like in shambles right now, but somehow some people are like messaging out or keeping in touch pretending to be California.
Do we have anybody on the West Coast?
Omen Shaman.
I think Omen Shaman is out on the West Coast as well.
But if he's currently on the East Coast,
that's true.
We did put him at Governor Lisk's like event, unless they were for some reason having it in California. But I would imagine it would be in Florida.
Is Tupac still alive in our world?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
But Muggsy Bogues is not.
It could be Nightlight.
Are you happy now? The trade-off you just asked for?
No.
But Tupac is real good at basketball now. Does that help?
Yes. That's better. I don't know. So Nightlight's in California?
I was going to say it could be Nightlight. I don't think we ever...
There are some people that we didn't specify locations for just because I think
like
we wanted
Nightlight.
to allow for this.
No, yeah. What if Nightlight is in California? The whole state has just suffered a huge tragedy. Like, it's chaos everywhere. No one can get out of the state for some reason.
And people are afraid.
But Nightlight is able to get out of there and warn the rest of the world, like, California just got attacked because it can do the bed teleportation.
So then he comes out underneath Simon's bed.
Oh, shit. Yeah, what?
Oh, I actually, if there's more of this thread we want to follow, there's something we can circle back to, but I think we should follow this thread to its completion.
Yeah, that's kind of like that'll tie Nightlight in. He's coming out and
he's one of the watchdogs. I don't know if you knew this or not, Drew.
Well, I didn't know that.
And he is the uncle to Bushido Sobo.
Of course.
Hey guys, also Sheriff Coleman was out west, so maybe he felt it as well.
Maybe
I don't know.
maybe he just like he was down in the mines and he felt something because he was so deep in the earth, and then knew. I don't know. If I were him, I'd be like, and just keep on going with my day. So
there's a scene where it cuts to Sheriff Coleman. He feels that he's like, okay, and then just goes back to whatever he's doing.
Would it be funnier if Nightlight appeared under Simon's bed? Or would it be funnier if he appeared under Derek's bed?
Oh, I think Derek would be better.
Or is it like he appears to Simon and Simon's just like, holy shit, we got to rally the troops, and forces Derek to come along with them.
Derek.
I just picture
Derek, it's happening.
Anytime anything happens to the Watchdogs, they call Derek immediately.
Derek's their like dad that doesn't want to be their dad.
Like they tried to go to the police, obviously the best law enforcement. They're like, no. We can't help you. I don't know what you're talking about. California's fine. See right here. There's a live feed from California. It's actually a fake California that Governor Lisk set up for the media.
Now, why did he attack California? Like, why that
I was
state?
thinking maybe California was the most opposed to Florida.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, they had a activists and like government in California that was so hard-headed that they couldn't be convinced to basically give up their votes or like submit to the will of Florida. So they just had to be removed.
The governor of Florida or the governor of California was just like, don't you guys see what he's doing? He's trying to seize power. Please listen to me. Please do not follow this person. So he just straight up attacks California.
And maybe like, you know how California's got like I think they have like really strict like health laws and stuff. Like that's why you always see things on packaging like this substance is known to cause cancer in the state of California because they're like all on top of that stuff. Sure. Maybe he can't send his eels there because their like water purification system is so up to date and like complete that they just can't get through.
I just had a visual of like a pack or like a giant delivery of eels trying to get into California, and they just like no, look at this right here, and there's a sign on it saying this package is eels. Don't try to get that in here. No, I'm on to you.
Is that where the article from? Is that where the truck from Tanner's article was going?
Oh,
we talked about it sort of going to Florida.
It was in Oregon.
What if it was going to California? Holy shit, it was in Oregon?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, coming from the north.
He got some people out there. So maybe this was the failed delivery to get to the governor.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. So he is just like, you know what? I'm going to make a statement.
Well, and maybe the governor of California is part mongoose.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Humans and mongooses mate? It says yes. It says they can have kids. So, I mean, that must be it.
Goose.
So, like, holy mongoose is the natural enemy of snakes.
Sorry, Tanner, I don't think you heard Drew. Drew, say it again.
Man goose.
So, yeah, mongooses are the natural enemy of snakes.
Now, is this a person who just, like, acquired a political nickname, like... He's
We
known
call
as
him
the
the
mongoose, but is this really a hybrid man mongoose?
I like the idea that it's just a nickname because I think it would be sort of a fun nod without actually.
And then that's
like-
also just ripe in the future to eventually he actually will turn into a mongoose.
That's so true.
Deep far down the line, but right now he's just known as the mongoose. Maybe because he's so outspoken against this snake. Oh wait, the world doesn't know he's a snake.
His name's Basil Lisk.
It's true.
But no, it's probably just his nickname because he's a mongoose out on the political floor place. The political court? What do you call that? Where do they play?
The
Rink, that's it.
the front nine.
Yep, on the back nine.
Back nine, yeah. Now, so he just straight up attacked California, and he's trying to cover it up by like a combination of like Professor Persuasion, controlling the media, or like he's got troops in California, like not letting anyone in or out. How long is he able to keep that up before the rest of the world like gets onto it? Like he has to have some. He's trying to buy time. It sounds like he's trying to buy time for himself.
Could the Weather Channel sort of continue to do work and sort of like run interference, like knock down communication lines and like cause huge storms on the coast so people can't get in?
Sure.
And, like,
yeah, that would
off
also
that
help
way?
too.
Like no flights can come in.
The bridges
there's-
are out.
There's flooding all along the coast or like the state line of it, so you can't get across the state border.
Weather Channel OP, please nerf.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to grasp my mind around them. This like, I know we tweeted out that there was a earthquake alert, but that's completely false. And then like, their storms are everywhere around California. They're not letting anyone in or out. Nope. It was a complete accident. Nope. Nothing to see here.
I mean,
keep doing
what
that.
are people going to say that the Weather Channel controls the weather?
Oh,
Yeah,
Like,
what are you,
shit.
crazy?
Yeah.
they report on the weather. They don't cause it, idiot.
That's a good point. I'm an idiot.
Well, I mean, that's what they would say to somebody in Universe, Drew. I'm not calling you an idiot.
No, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, Nate, it's
Well.
pretty clear you're using this as a platform to vent your anger of Drew.
I get it, man.
Listen, just because Drew says stupid, dumb thing doesn't mean I'm attacking him directly.
I have my emergency pint of ice cream to eat alone. Just waiting for me now.
What kind of ice cream is it?
Busting that bad boy out. Oh, Cherry Garcia.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good
Should have
one.
gone with Americone Dream.
That is, sadly, they didn't have it in stock at the local watering hole. All right. So should we just take stock with what this plan is? It's like a 3-part plan. It's been a progression, and then we should maybe talk about what it arrives at.
Okay.
So Buzz Aldrin and NASA are.
Oh shit, sorry.
Why
Alarm's
did you
still
set
going.
an alarm?
All right, it's time, just like Tanner said.
I mean, I've got
Alright.
another article just in
All right,
case someone
so
picked my.
No, we're going in order. It's Dave's turn. All right, Dave, what you got?
Bill is.
Dave, you've been real quiet. for
Bill
the
is
past
coming
couple
out
weeks.
and he says he has an article. Yeah, what's that, Bill? Oh, he's just excited about his new special on Netflix.
I mean, we all are. Is that real?
Hold on,
No, I don't know.
just sell him for parts is the name of it. He but by the way, his approval rating with the missus has not improved. Golf's game is the same, and he's still excited about his new tour stop in Marysville, Washington.
All right, so basically this is turned into a plot for Governor Lisk to seize power of the United States is what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
I imagine he sees it as a stepping stone to the world.
yeah, and maybe the California thing was like maybe a little bit of a vengeance thing, but he was trying to like hold off on California being outspoken about it until like the final vote was cast for some reason. I don't know how voting and election works in our world, but apparently it's a lot weirder. But the first part of that was to a couple of a lot of key assassinations across the United States of key individual political figures, maybe a few especially outspoken civilians, stuff like that, in the form of him taking eels and sending them through the pipes and just having them bite with poison, and poisoning these people.
On their butts.
Well, it could be comedically in the toilet, or it could be a sink, but more comedically from the toilet.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe before that, he threw a gala Buzz Aldrin threw a gala to gain money for NASA and to help fund Governor Lisk's campaign. So in that gala, with the help of Professor Persuasion and his chemistry, as well as the reluctant cooperation of Kindergeist, they basically gassed this gala and forced them all to like give up all their money. And when they were all gassed, it seemed to them like the art literally came to life, and it was very scary, very spook.
I'm spooked.
Yeah, I'm spooked just thinking about it. Is that right?
That's how I hear it.
On the NASA front of it, part of the agreement was that Governor Lisk would try to kill Infestra, known enemy of NASA. And so Governor Lisk tried to assassinate her via the eels, but that failed because her bugs alerted her. So when that failed, NASA was just like, fine, we'll do it ourselves. And by do it ourselves, we're going to recruit the help of the Weather Channel. And they sent Tommy Tornado to try and assassinate Infestra. Infestra almost died, but Windshield flew in, managed to save her, but in the process, Infestra lost a lot of her bugs there.
I have a quick question about that.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, Infestra, when you would see her, I assume normally looks like a pretty horrifying visage, especially with all of her bugs. Does she have a exoskeleton thing? Did we specify that?
I think she has an exoskeleton.
Was it called chitin?
Chitin, yeah, because you like to use the word chitin.
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 So I was just thinking, I mean, it makes less sense if she has the chitin, but I'll say the whole thing, and we can just cut this if it's garbage.
Okay.
It's basically like, I was imagining like all of her bugs get blown away, and so when like Windshield comes in, Infestra looks way less threatening. Like maybe she doesn't even know that she's like a bad guy necessarily.
The 5 eyelids probably give it away.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think the chitin thing sort of makes it a little harder to think.
It's like, well, what if it was just maybe every time Infestra has like attacked anyone, it has been when she is just literally held up by a giant swarm of stuff, and maybe she makes herself look a lot more menacing with all her bugs, like when in the new Thor trailer when Hela attacks Asgard. She looks like she's got these flowy robes around her and this giant crown. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's all bugs, but as soon as those bugs are stripped away, she's still got the chitin, but it's she just looks a lot more pathetic than what we were led to believe and what we saw. I like what you're talking about there. Like there's a pity thing along with it.
Yeah. And plus
Windshield has an obligation, a moral obligation. She's just like, I will not lose another person to tornadoes.
So I guess what I was trying to wonder is like, could Windshield in theory come in and be like, don't worry, I'll save you, citizen, and then like Infestra be like, yeah, citizen, and sort of like have this weird thing where Windshield doesn't realize that Infestra's a bad guy, and Infestra like doesn't want to like hurt this person who helped her. I don't know, maybe it's just an unnecessary dynamic.
That's not a bad idea.
I think we could do that, but like I guess that's something to talk about next time. Like, is Infestra gonna reveal herself? I don't know, this is something we need to decide. Does she look like a normal human or no?
Maybe she doesn't look like a normal. Yeah.
Well, just because
she kind of does. Like that was part of her whole thing.
She's like humanoid in shape.
That she looks like a chitin monster.
She does, not a monster, but maybe she looks humanoid, I'd suppose.
So like this is a world full of superheroes and all that stuff. So it probably just like doesn't even like phase Windshield. She's just like, okay, well you're something.
You're something, huh?
You're really something.
Maybe at this point, Windshield went in to save Infestra because she knew Infestra could help them. Maybe she's been briefed and they need to recruit Infestra to fight NASA.
Well, maybe she believes that there's good inside Infestra.
Yeah. And maybe Windshield is taking her back, Infestra back.
Windshield has, they have a similar backstory, kind of. They were both kind of scorned by the company they worked for.
Yeah.
So maybe she tries to relate to her.
Infestra was left to die by the company.
Mm-hmm.
Windshield had someone killed right in front of her.
And then they tried to kill her.
Although for those listening at home who don't know this, spoilers, Tommy Tornado is her fiance.
Oh shit. Greatest plot twist of all time.
Shit. I just I have a visual of in the last scene in this comic book is like Windshield plopping Infestra down, a very weak looking chitin armored but still very weak looking Infestra in front of a group. And it's like the final scene is like whatever heroes we decide are going up against the villains. I don't know.
No, I like that as a like last shot.
But we're not exactly sure who's going to be fighting it. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Oh, we're sure.
I'm sure, I bet Nightlight is there already. Like, maybe California happened before the Infestor thing happened, but he's definitely a part of this fight.
Nightlight
Windshield's a part
riding
of
on
this
top
fight.
of Mech Gruff with the watchdogs running behind him and Derek in the distance, like
Derek's
walking.
just like...
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm not running
Yeah.
though. You can't make me run.
I want so much to get Sheriff Coleman in on this, but like...
Maybe we can. It's just it'll sort of reveal itself in the next episode.
Yeah. And we can talk more about who's all there next time. But I guess another question, is there a way to get other villains in on this, tie them in pretty easily?
We've got a decent number, don't we?
We've got Omen Shaman's there, Governor Lisk, Professor Persuasion, Kindergeist, and then Buzz Aldrin and whatever he's got.
Is that it?
Teen Rex? Oh, wait, I mentioned Catatonic. I'm not sure where... Oh, and then Tommy Tornado's in on
Tommy
this too.
Tornado.
Boy, you're right. We do actually have a lot of people in on this.
Yeah.
And only more to come in the next episode, I feel like.
Yeah.
Is it now President Lisk? Does this work out?
So that's a question that we think we still have to decide is like, do we start the next episode after the plan has succeeded and now the heroes have to fight back? Is that the idea? Because if so, I think he's President Lisk.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I think this is the first major like event that has happened in this world. And maybe it caught the heroes off guard and they had to kind of regroup. Plus, they've never like been together before.
Mm-hmm. Except for Derek and the Watchdogs.
Yeah, we did do the Thunder Lizard Arson. I was gonna say if we could get Teen Rex in here, that'd be awesome. But at the same time, in our fiction, it could be that Teen Rex is still recovering after getting defeated by Mech Gruff and Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I think, yeah, for all intents and purposes, this worked out. It is now President Lisk. Somehow. He got elected. A lot of key protesters against him are now dead. California is a wasteland. His first thing he does is obviously move Washington, D.C. to Florida.
Mm-hmm. New capital.
Yeah, new capital. And Professor Persuasion is right there next to him. Does Buzz Aldrin get elected vice president?
I feel like do you feel like Buzz Aldrin wants to be in the spotlight?
It's true, maybe not.
He's back in the shadows.
Another NASA pawn we could.
What if we just do an
there?
astronaut of some sort, just any astronaut?
I feel like we should go like Neil Armstrong feels a little too big. Also, he's dead. I don't know. I just searched.
Oh,
yeah. What do you got? You got someone?
I was gonna say, who's kind of famous? Like he's got, like I see him on Twitter all the time. Is Scott Kelly?
Ooh. Scott
Kelly.
Kelly.
Let me look up.
He's like he goes up. He's up on the space station, and he sends all those videos back.
He spent the most time in space.
Yeah.
How about that?
I have a lot of respect for Scott Kelly. Are we actually going to make him evil now?
Yes.
Hey, listen, we have a lot of respect for Buzz Aldrin, but
maybe he has no choice but to do it because of Professor Persuasion. I don't know. Nah, sure,
make
whatever.
him evil.
Yeah, Scott Kelly is
we've
now
made
vice
NASA as an
president.
organization evil. Why not?
Yeah.
Scott Kelly, president or vice president. Basil Lisk, president. Professor Persuasion, secretary of press still, of course.
You ever notice how like the astronaut outfits make them look so small? He just looks like a really small guy because his pack is so big. Oh, maybe not really small, but it makes him look his head just look a little small.
He looks a little turtly,
But okay, Scott Kelly is Vice President Scott Kelly.
Boom. What did we decide that Kindergeist is actually Secretary of Education?
Oh yeah.
All right. So he's building up. Yeah. Omen Shaman, does he get a position?
Yeah.
Or is he just very close to?
He's the sign spinner outside the White House.
They like try and offer him like, well, do you want to be like head of DOD or something? He's like, no. There's a good spot out there for me. I see it. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Buzz Aldrin is kind of watching this, and like Governor Lisk or President Lisk is just like, thanks for your help, and he's just like, yes. Now, you owe me now. Does Buzz Aldrin want something out of this? Now that he's got the King of the United States under his belt.
I mean, for all they know, Infestra's dead.
That's true.
So they got what they want, and now they have their man in power, basically.
The weather, Tommy Tornado reported back. Yep, got her, because there's just Maybe he just thought she turned into a bunch of bugs.
Hey, that was really crazy. She was bugs the whole time. Did you know that?
Didn't see that twist coming. 2 questions. What's going on in California? And then 2, where's the Weather Channel stand after all this carnage?
Do they, once he's elected, do they just like pull out of California and not care about it?
It's too late for them. It's too late for them to do anything. So.
Yeah.
The first thing President Lisk does is like, I regret to inform everyone that there was a accident in California and everyone is dead there.
Whoa. Everyone's dead?
Yeah. Well, no, he's just straight up lying.
But I thought they pulled out.
No, what if they stay in and they're just keeping California?
So that's where they send the people that disagree with them. They just send them to California.
Yeah, it turns into their Arkham City where they're just throwing people in there.
Okay.
It turns into the Australia of the United States.
Yeah.
Arkham State.
Arkham State.
Arkham Australia.
TM. So yeah, he's working out of Florida. California is now the world believes that California is dead to the world, but our heroes know better than that because Nightlight got out of there. Yeah, and the Weather Channel, what did they get?
In exchange for, like, what if President Lisk, as one of his first moves in his administration, is like, well, after all the devastating weather we had, I think it's really important for us to, establish a stronger focus on the weather and so we've decided to make a department of, weather or something or other. And like, we're going to take this guy from the weather department or the Weather Channel, and he's going to be he's going to be the Secretary of Weather.
There you go.
Like, I don't know, maybe they get some sort of special legal privileges that they can, I don't know.
President Lisk, like, he's got a 50-50 funding plan. 50% going to snakes, 50% going to the Weather Channel.
Don't forget NASA.
Oh, yeah, NASA's got to get some stuff
30,
out of this.
30.
33, 33, 32. Wait, that doesn't add up. 1% goes to snacks. 2% goes to snacks.
Like 30, and then 10% for old Lisky. Like, he's
You're right. Yeah, he's got to take a cut out of this. 10% of the United States Treasury is a pretty hefty chunk. Does he make any sweeping statements about, like, his relations with Europe?
Yeah, he says, F those guys.
We were once under them, and now is he declaring war against
He's
Europe?
He's going to invade Europe.
Oh, shit. That brings in a lot of heroes then.
Could. If we choose to do that.
Nate, what do you think? Should he make a big sweeping, he's declaring war on Europe?
It's a bold move. Jesus, Governor Lisk.
It is, but like, we gotta, like, sure, he won, but there's got to be a next part to the plan that the heroes need to stop.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, I think him declaring war on Europe would be a pretty good one. That's the next big powerhouse, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And maybe he reaches out to the North. What is the name of that university?
North Dunkington. He reaches out to them, and then also there's a certain legion of brain menaces that he could maybe reach out to as well.
The United States has carrots beyond your wildest dreams. Help us, and we can help you.
Fight for us. Now, is it full-out war, or is it just like tension is rising and maybe war isn't declared yet, but it's definitely getting that way, and then that leaves it open to, like, armies aren't getting involved. It's only like the heroes. Yeah. Maybe war is too drastic. It is just like, if we don't do anything about this now, it could turn into war. So Germany's going to send their top agent.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to, like, put it too, because, like, I don't know, I think that's a good place to pin it, maybe, just because then as we sort of determine the hero response, we can sort of shape what they need to respond to. I don't know, like, it can sort of actively develop.
No, I think that's perfect. All right. Yeah, so that's kind of what happened with Florida right there.
Yeah.
And boy, it turned into a doozy. We now have President Lisk.
And then when this is all said and done, like, after next episode, like, this is going to be a world-altering event, right?
I think so, yeah. Like, the United States is pretty fucked here. California, fucked. Florida, pretty fucked. The government of the United States, pretty much in shambles. So I guess that's as good a place as any to leave this. So, should I play us out?
Please do.
Yeah.
All right, so this has been a very special issue number 20, the first part of a two-parter of Headline Heroes, featuring a lot of things, a lot of people. We brought Governor Lisk in, Professor Persuasion, Buzz Aldrin and NASA, Kindergeist, and so many others. This has been world-altering event. We wanted to, of course, take this time to thank Brett Jacobson, who created the art for our show. Wanted to also thank Carl Sorensen for the music that we use. Carl's website is carljsorensen.com. If you have any articles you'd like to see us discuss, tweet them at us. It's at headline_heroes. If you want to remain anonymous for some reason, you can definitely send them to our email, headlineheroescast@gmail.com. If you're listening on iTunes, give us a review, hit that subscribe button. Tell us how we're doing. What did you think of this special episode? Could it have been better? Did you just love it so much? Did you want to give Tanner a hug? Anything.
Please.
But again, we thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll pick up next week's special issue of Headline Heroes.
That's the sound of the police! That's the sound of the beast! That's the sound of the
Do you ever wonder what would happen if you had a robot select 3 random elements and then gave those elements to pretend entrepreneurs, and then those pretend entrepreneurs use those things to inspire amazing pitches? Hi, I'm Derek, host of The Wild Pitch, and I'll tell you what would happen. You get an absurdist Shark Tank style show called The Wild Pitch. New episodes every Wednesday on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever podcasts are found.